Did you get your books? So let's start. Open page number 16. What's the date today? Today is, let's write, 29th of September. So 29/9/2021 or 2021. Let's read the information in the books to revise our information. Yes, I need the line. What is the sentence? The sentence is a group of words that expresses a complete thought. Every complete sentence has two parts, a complete subject and a complete predicate. What is the complete subject? Tells what or whom the sentence is about. What's the complete predicate? Tells what a subject is or does. The predicates can be more than one word. So let's circle the complete subject and the complete predicate. So what's the meaning of complete subject? The complete subject tells what or whom the sentence is about. The complete predicate tells what a subject is or does. It tells us something about the subject. So which word or words tell what the subject is or does? Draw a line under the complete predicate. So let's find the subject, then the predicate. Birds live in many different habitats. Whose the sentence is about? It's about birds. So the word birds is the subject. Where is the predicate? What about the birds? They live in many different habitats. So live in many different habitats is the predicate. So let's draw a line under live in many different habitats. Polar bears live in cold places. What's the sentence is about or whose? The sentence is about here because they are the bears. So it's about bears or polar bears. Polar bears is the subject. What about them? They live in cold places. So live in cold places is the predicate. Don't forget that most of the time the predicate begins with a verb. So the word live here is the verb. The bears live on thick ice sheets. Whose the sentence is about? Who live on thick ice sheets? Yes. The bears or these bears. So these bears is the subject. Live on thick sheets is the predicate. Heavy fur keeps the polar bear warm. Whose the sentence is about or here what the sentence is about? It's about heavy fur. So the heavy fur is the subject. What about the heavy fur? It keeps the polar bear warm. So keeps the polar bear warm is the predicate. A grizzly bear is large and fierce. Whose the sentence is about? It's about grizzly bear. So grizzly bear is the subject. Is large and fierce is the predicate. The grizzly likes to catch fish to eat. So the sentence is about the grizzly. What about them? They likes to catch fish to eat. This is the predicate. Grizzlies hibernate when it gets cold. The sentence about grizzlies. What about them? They hibernate when it gets cold. Do you know what's the meaning of hibernate? It means to sleep all the winter. The sun bear is a small bear. Who's the sentence about? It's about the sun bear. What about the sun bear? It's a small bear. So is a small bear is the predicate. Notice that live, keeps, is, likes, hibernate, is, all of these words are verbs. So the predicate begins with a verb. Some bears live in warmer climate. Some bears is the subject. Live in warmer climates is the predicate. The sun bear again steals honey from beehives. The sun bear is the subject. What about them? They steals honey from beehives. This is the predicate. So the subject tells us Tell us whose the sentence is about or what the sentence is about. While the predicate tells us something about the subject. So the complete predicate tells what a subject is or does. The predicates can be more than one word. Two predicates joined by the word and form a compound predicates. So what's the complete? Predicate tells what a subject is or does. The predicates can be more than one word. Two predicates join by the word and they are a compound predicates, like the compound subject. Place a check mark next to the sentence if it has a compound predicate. Write the complete predicate on the line. Here, Caleb is baking pies for the bake sale. Who's the sentence is about? Is about Caleb. So Caleb is the subject. Is baking pies for the bake sale is the predicate. So let's write. Is it a compound predicate? Let's look. Is there and here? There is no and. That means it's not a compound predicate. Here, Katya helps peel the apples. Who's the sentence is about? It's about Katya. Katya is the subject. What about her? She helps peel the apples. So this is the predicate. Is it a compound predicate? There is no and here, so it's not a compound predicate. Mom turns on the oven and bakes the crust. Who's the sentence is about? It's about mom. So mom is the subject. Turns on the oven and bakes the crust is the predicate. Here we have the word and. Can you see and? Let me arrange them. Let me use this line. Is baking pies for the bake sales. Here's the predicate. Helps peel the apples is the predicate. Turns on the oven and bakes the crust here is the predicate. But here we have the word and. Let me use the circle. So this is a compound predicate. Let's put tick or check mark. Turns on the oven and bakes the crust. Lara wants to make a cupcake. Lara is the subject. Wants to make cupcakes is the predicate. She pours in the flour and stirs the butter. So pours in the flour and stirs the butter. Here is the predicate. She is the subject, of course, but we found the word and here. So it is a compound predicate. So we should put tick in front of it. So the cupcakes bake for 30 minutes. What the sentence is about or what the sentence is about? It's about the cupcakes. What about the cupcakes? Bake for 30 minutes. So this is the predicate and it's not a compound predicate because there is no and. Nina frosts the cupcakes and decorates them. So Nina is the subject. Frost the cupcake and decorate them is the predicate. But here we can see the word and that means this is a compound predicate. We're going to put a tick here or a check mark. The bake sale begins at noon. The sentence is about the bake sale. So the bake sale is the subject. Here, let's write subject. Where is the predicate? The predicate begins at noon. It's not a compound predicate. Dad and Mr. Lee here, it's a compound subject because we have the word and in the subject. What about them? They sit up the table. Sit up the tables is the predicate. So let's write the predicates here. We sit out the food and wait for the customers. We is the subject. Sit out the food and wait for the customers is the predicate. So here let's underline them. Then circle the word and. So that means this is a compound predicate. So let's put that check mark here. The last page. Turn your page, page number 18. Okay, before that, now we need to talk about something. Let me erase everything. Today we're going to talk about the run-on sentence. What's the meaning of, I put a wrong slide here. Let me change it. I mean the second. I've changed it. So now we will talk about what's a run-on sentence. The run-on sentence is a sentence error. It's not a correct sentence. No, it's a sentence error. It's caused by running one sentence into another without putting any punctuation in between. For example, if I say, or we say, we all like grammar, we all love this class here, we all like grammar, this is a sentence, and we all love this class, this is another sentence, but they didn't put a period between them. They didn't separate them. So we should separate the sentences with a period. If there is no period between the sentence, we call that run-on sentence. To begin or to start another sentence without putting any punctuation mark. So the run-on sentence, it's an error sentence. It's caused, or it's a sentence error. It's caused by running one sentence into another without putting any punctuation between them. So let's read the information in the box. The complete sentence has a subject and a predicate. It expresses a complete thought. The fragment doesn't, where is the line? It's here. The fragment doesn't have both a subject and predicate. We can correct the fragment by adding a subject or predicate. We already took it before. What is the run sentence? Here it's a new information. So circle it. What is the run-on sentence? The run-on sentence means joins two sentences that should be separate. So we can correct the run-on sentence how? By separating the two ideas into two sentences. That's mean by adding a period between them. Read the sentence, rewrite its sentence, and fix any fragments or run-on sentences I like summer. I always go camping with my dad. Here we have two sentences. I like my summer and I always go camping with dad. So we should separate them by adding a period. Here, I like summer. Then start another sentence. I always go camping with my dad. Let's do it. I like summer, period. I always go camping with my dad, period. So we should separate them into two sentences. First, dad and I. First, comma, dad and I. What about that? What about us? Or what about them? Because we're not talking dad and I. We should add a predicate because dad and I, they are nouns, or there is a noun and a pronoun, but they are subject. What about them, dad and I? Let's see, for example, sit up, attend, or dad and I collect woods, or dad and I walked in the woods or in the forest or whatever. We should add any predicate. Dad and I set up the tent and period. So it was a fragment, but we corrected it by adding a, let's see here. What's the kind of the sentence? It's run-on sentence. So how did we correct it? By adding a period. What about first dad and I? It's a fragment because it doesn't have a predicate. We gather wood for a campfire. Later, we take a swim in the lake. Here we have two sentences. It's a run-on sentence. Run-on sentence. So we will correct it by adding a period. So we gather wood for a campfire, period. Later, we take a swim in the lake, and don't forget to start the word later with capital letter. In the evening, my dad and I. What did they do, my dad and I? We should add a predicate. So this is a fragment. We should add a predicate. Maybe we can say, for example, we listen to stories, we play music, we eat food, we sit inside the tent, we sleep in the sleeping bag, whatever you want, but we should add a predicate. I wrote here, in the evening, okay. In the evening, my dad and I built a campfire. We sleep great in the tent. We have a big breakfast the next morning. So here we have a run-on sentence because there is a sentence run-on, the other one without any punctuation mark. So this is the run-on sentence. We should correct it by separate them. Let's put a period between the two sentences. We sleep great in the tent, period, and capitalize the W. We have a big breakfast the next morning. Have you finished? Thank you for listening. Goodbye, grade 3. See you later.